If you've been diving into Wuchang Fallen Feathers, you've probably noticed it's not afraid to take classic Souls-like ideas and give them its own twist. One of the coolest examples of this is the weapon Benediction system. Think of them like weapon runes or enchantments, but with a bit more personality. You can slot up to 3 of them into your weapon, but here's the catch. You can only swap them out at shrines. So no, you can't just mix and match mid-fight when that boss starts absolutely wrecking you. There are 3 types: Oath, Memory, and Wisdom, and each one has its own special slot. That means you can't just load up on 3 Oath Benedictions and call it a day. Now here's where it gets spicy. Benedictions can actually work like set items. Equip a full set, and you unlock some seriously powerful bonuses. The downside? You're probably not getting those full sets early in the game. But that doesn't mean you're out of luck. Even in the early hours, you can find some surprisingly strong benedictions that can make your weapon hit harder, swing faster, or just give you that extra edge you need to survive. And today, we're going to break down the best early weapon benedictions you can grab so you can walk into those boss fights feeling a little less doomed. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. Alright, let us talk about Shi, Vitality Ward, one of those memory-type benedictions in Wuchang Fallen Feathers that sounds great on paper but has a bit of a catch. You can grab it after defeating Blightweaver, Great Centipede in Worship's Rise, Bandit Cave. Once you have that boss down, head to the tower with the elevator, and here's the trick. Step off the elevator while it is moving to find it. It is a neat little treasure hunt moment in the game. Now, what does it actually do? Vitality Ward reduces incoming damage, but only while your health bar is completely full. Sounds nice, right? The problem is, in Wuchang, keeping your health untouched is easier said than done. With most bosses darting around like caffeinated ninjas, that bonus tends to vanish after the first hit. In many cases, it basically gives you a little extra protection for that opening blow, and then, well, it is back to dodging for your life. That said, it is not useless by any means. If you are running a build focused on spells, throwables, or just generally keeping enemies at arm's length, you have a much better shot at staying topped up on health. In those cases, Vitality Ward acts like a safety net, softening the impact if something finally lands a hit. Against slower, heavier hitting enemies, that extra layer of defense can really take the edge off. So, while it is not a must-have for every build, it can definitely shine in the right hands. Let us dive into Wei. Try Disciplinary Force, an Oath-type benediction that can really crank up your damage output, if you meet its tricky conditions. You can grab it for 2,000 red mercury from Wugang in Shu Sanctum, but only after handing him the Golden Bowl. On paper, it is a powerful early-game pickup, since anything that flat-out boosts damage is always tempting. But the way it works catches a lot of players off guard. Here is the catch. It only activates if you know 3 different discipline skills, and no, the default moves that come with your weapons do not count. You have to unlock them through the Impetus Repository skill tree. If you are not sure whether it will even work for you, the easiest way to check is by heading to the Disciplines menu at any shrine. If you do not see 3 unlocked, you will not get any bonus at all. This makes Wei, Try Disciplinary Force, a bit of a long game investment. Early on, unlocking those extra discipline moves takes time, resources, and a clear focus on one weapon type. If you are constantly swapping weapons and experimenting, it will take even longer to see any benefit. But for players who stick to one style and grind out those unlocks, this benediction can become a serious damage multiplier later in the run. Boo. Skyborn Ward is one of those early game defensive benedictions you can pick up in Wuchang Fallen Feathers, and it can genuinely make the difference in some tough fights. You get it by taking down the Tang Palace Maid boss in Buddha Cliffs, which is no small feat if you are still getting the hang of dodging and timing. Once equipped, it gives you a nice little safety buffer in battles where things can spiral out of control fast. The trick is that it only kicks in when you have stats of Skyborn Might active. You can build these stats through perfect evades or certain combat abilities, so it rewards precise timing and a good read on enemy patterns. If you are not triggering Skyborn Might often, you might not notice much benefit, but if you are, it adds a reliable layer of damage reduction right when you need it. What makes Skyborn Ward interesting is how it can change your playstyle. With that extra protection in your back pocket, you can afford to play a bit more aggressively, stringing together riskier combos, or pushing your offense when you would normally back off. It is not game-breaking, but for players who like to stay in the enemy's face, it is a great way to shrug off some punishment while dishing it out. Ren. Skyborn Vigor is a memory-type benediction that feels like a lifesaver in the early stages of Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Stamina management is one of the constant struggles in this game, and running out mid-fight is practically an invitation for enemies to punish you. That is why anything that speeds up stamina recovery is immediately worth considering. For just 960 red mercury from Wu Gang and Shu Sanctum, after handing him the golden bowl, you can grab this upgrade surprisingly early. What makes it so good is its direct impact on your survivability and offense. Faster stamina recovery means more dodges, more attacks, and less time stuck waiting for that green bar to refill while your opponent is breathing down your neck. It is especially handy during boss fights, where constant movement is essential, and every second counts. The only drawback is that its effect is tied to Skyborn Might, just like Bow, Skyborn Ward. That means you will need to trigger Skyborn Might through perfect evades or specific abilities to actually benefit. It is not as effortlessly reliable as a fully passive upgrade like the Twin Infant Pendant, but when Skyborn Vigor is active, the difference in your stamina flow is immediately noticeable. In the right hands, that boost can turn tense fights in your favor. She. Rising Defense is one of those benedictions that can really keep you in the fight when things start going south. You will find it in a cave near the Worship's Rise, Lu's Mansion Shrine, and once you have it, you will quickly see why it is such a solid defensive pick. It boosts your defense against slashing, blunt, and stab attacks, the bread and butter of human-like enemies in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This makes it especially handy for boss battles against foes like Commander, Honglan, who can dish out serious punishment with traditional weapons. The catch is that it only kicks in when your health drops below 30%. That means you will not feel its benefits in every moment of the fight, but rather when you are on the ropes and really need a lifeline. While it would be amazing if it worked all the time, that low HP trigger mechanic does make it a bit of a clutch saver in those tense moments where one more hit could spell disaster. In practice, Rising Defense buys you just enough breathing room to heal up or finish a fight without getting cut down in the process. That extra durability can mean the difference between a heroic comeback and a trip back to the shrine. It is not a flashy offensive boost, but for players who value survivability and the chance to recover mid-battle, it earns its spot in the early game benediction lineup. Wei. Combo Force is the ultimate prize for clearing Worship's Rise, and you will have to earn it by taking down the region's final boss, Commander Honglan. That fight is no joke, but the reward is worth every dodge, block, and counter you pull off. Combo Force is a wisdom-type benediction that fits perfectly into an aggressive playstyle, giving you one of the strongest offensive boosts you can get this early in Wuchang Fallen Feathers. The way it works is simple, but incredibly satisfying. The more you chain consecutive attacks, the higher your damage climbs. This makes it an absolute dream for fast-hitting weapon types like dual blades or one-handed swords, where you can keep the pressure on and watch your damage ramp up in real time. It rewards relentless offense and precision, turning every uninterrupted combo into a wrecking ball. Since pure damage-boosting benedictions are relatively rare, Combo Force stands out as one of the most valuable upgrades in the game. It is the kind of benediction that can carry you well beyond the Worship's Rise region, especially if you are the type of player who thrives on speed and aggression. In the right hands, it does not just enhance your weapon, it completely changes the tempo of your fights. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.